Welcome back. We enter the leg where we take your mutual fund questions. Joining us today is Hemant Rustagi. Thanks, Hemant, for coming by. Let's go across to our first viewer, who's Deepak from Bangalore. Hi, Deepak. Good morning. Deepak?
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
Deepak. Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes, what's your question?
So basically, I have a mutual fund of Birla Sun Life 96 Group and tax saving.
Right.
I invested 32,000 rupees on a SIP basis.
Right.
So just wanted to understand, sir, is that fund is right the time to exit, or I need to wait for some more period of time?
How long have you been invested in it?
From past 32 months, sir.
32 months. Okay, well, you don't have a choice. You have to stay till 3 years. But let me check with Hemant if after the 3 years is completed, should you move out or should you stay invested? Hemant.
Yeah, Deepak, I would say that, a Birla tax saver actually, if you really compare the performance with the peer group, it's not been doing that well. But like Vivek mentioned, there is a mandatory lock-in period of 3 years. So since you've been investing through SIP, wherever you're not completed 3 years, you can't exit from this fund. But wherever you have completed 3 years, and be careful that we are talking about each installment of SIP completing a period of 3 years. Wherever you have completed a period of 3 years, my recommendation would be to switch this money into either Birla Dividend Yield Fund or Birla Frontline Fund. So one of these funds you can switch, as I said, wherever you have completed 3 year period.
But that's interesting, Hemant, because many investors don't seem to understand this. So in effect, what he is paying out today will have to wait for another 3 years.
Yes, absolutely. There is a lock-in of 3 years for when you're investing through SIP. It basically applies to each of the installment that you pay, not from the date when you actually start investing in a particular fund.
Well, next up, we've got Tapas Talai, who calls in from Bangalore. Hi, Tapas. What's your question?
Hello.
Yes, Tapas. What's your question?
Yeah, actually, this is Tapas calling from Bangalore.
Right.
Yeah, can you please suggest me one or two SIPs which having tax benefits?
Okay.
Also, they are supposed to be a locking period, as well as my plan is to invest around 3,000 to 4,000 per month.
And what sort of a time horizon are you looking at, Tapas? Would it be 5 years plus?
Pardon?
Would you be looking to make this investment for over 5 years?
Yeah, minimum it should be around 3 years.
Okay. Hemant, Tapas would like to know what sort of an SIP can get started on for about 3 to 5 years time period. 3 years is the minimum, he says. Any sort of tax saver funds that he could consider?
Yes, definitely. I think mutual funds do have these tax saver fund, which is what we call equity linked savings scheme, which are popularly known as ELSS. These funds, as we just discussed, have a mandatory lock-in period of 3 years. Tapas, I would say that if you're looking to establish SIP for a slightly longer term, my recommendation would be that you should put it on hold for some time, because in the next couple of months we will get to know whether DTC, that is Direct Tax Code, is getting implemented from 1st April 2012 or not. And if it does, in that case, most likely this ELSS scheme will cease to exist. So for the current year, however, there is no problem. You can go ahead and start investing, since there are 3 months left for the current financial year. I would say that, and also considering the volatility which is there in the market, that you can invest in 2 or 3 installments by 31st March. The fund that you can consider are Can Rebeco Tax Saver or Fidelity Tax Advantage. You can look at either both the funds or one of these funds. But since you're talking about investing currently for 3 months, I think it will be better that you look at only one fund. And as I said, wait for the news on DTC and then take a call for the slightly longer term SIP.
Just to go beyond Tapas's question, in fact, it's a very relevant question, Hemant, because we do know that there is a question mark on ELSS in the new DTC which is proposed. We don't know if it's going to come this year or not, but if it does, wouldn't it be more prudent for an investor? And we do know that whatever comes will not be with retrospective effect. It will be from prospective effect. And therefore, rather than going and doing 2 SIPs of 3,000 rupees, if somebody wants to invest in an ELSS, maybe this is the time to put away a bit of lump sum, because at least for the next 3 years, then you are fine, till as long as that scheme is there in the lock-in.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Vivek. Like I said, there are 3 months left in the current financial year. So anyone who wants to plan or want to invest in ELSS this year, there is no issue. You should go ahead with that. The only thing I was saying is because if there is no compulsion in terms of when you have to show your proof of investment to your employer in case you are, working somewhere, then, you can you can actually invest over the next 2 or 3 months in a phased manner. But yes, it has to be lump sum because when you're investing through SIP, it has to be for a minimum of 6 months. So for the current year, there is no option but to go for the lump sum.
Okay, let's slip into a quick break. We come back and take a lot more of your mutual fund questions. Keep your calls coming in. We're right here.
Welcome back. You're watching Talk Money. The markets are holding steady. Globally, remember, Qs are very supportive. The Nifty well above 4800, 4816 is what we're trading at. The Bread's looking good. Volumes have picked up, and sectorally speaking as well, it's pretty much a sea of green coming in for the street. Let's go across to the next caller now. We've got with us Vijay Das, who calls in. Hi, Vijay. What's your question?
Hello, ma'am. I am from Gonda, UP.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, go on.
I have taken ULIP plan that is from SBI ULIP.
Right.
It is smart ULIP. It is somehow, they call it is highest energy plan.
Right.
I deposited in 2009
Right.
and second in 10. And it was due my 11, that is August.
Right.
I couldn't pay that. And they told me that if you until pay third one,
Right.
I won't get next year NAV.
Well, Vijay, yes.
So I am unable to pay third one.
Right. We'll just, of course, go across to Hemant and ask him to help you understand what this really means. Hemant, of course, he's been unable to pay in the last year, I think. It's a 3-year lock-in period. He wants to know what's the consequence of not paying up because he can't really pay it right now.
Well, I think first thing is that if he's not in a position to pay, the insurance cover will lapse immediately. And what he will get is basically in terms of, money back from the insurance company is the fund value as of the date when the policy lapses. And of course, there are going to be some mandatory charges which will be deducted from that. And he can then take the money back. Obviously, if he can revive that policy within the mandatory period which is given, then the policy will continue. If he doesn't pay, then obviously he'll get his money back from the insurance company.
All right, let's take an email here from Ali Akbar of Shimla. Hi, it's an email. He has 2 funds, HDFC Equity, for which he pays 5,000 per month as an SIP, and IDFC Premier Equity, for which again it's 5,000 per month. He can hold on for 7 years. Is the fund selection good? What kind of returns are expected on these funds? Both these schemes seem like very good schemes. Hemant, he's picked up, and he's a fairly young person. He's 27 years old. So perhaps on the right track?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think both these funds are among the leaders in the category. HDFC Equity Fund is actually a multi-cap fund, which means that it's basically invests in large cap, mid cap, and small. The focus is on large, which around 50-60% of money is invested in that, and the rest is divided between small and mid and small cap. IDFC Premier Equity is essentially a mid-cap fund, and is again among the leaders in its category. So I think both these funds are among the top leaders. And I think since he's investing through SIP, which is again the best way, his time horizon is 7 years. He talked about return. Well, I think my view is that if somebody who invests for let's say 10-year time horizon or something, the reasonable expectation would be annualized return of around 12%. But if you go beyond that, maybe say 15% or so, one can expect around 15% annualized return from equity funds.
Right. Thanks a ton, Hemant, for that. That's, of course, the feedback coming in for Ali Akbar's query.